All right, we have contains duplicate. Probably the easiest question of all time. This is the first question you see on LeetCode. And yeah, so let's get right into it. So we're given an array of numbers, and we have to return true if any value appears more than once in the array. Otherwise, we're just gonna return false, okay? So we have two examples. Here we have a duplicate, and here we don't got a duplicate. As you can see, it's literally right there, bro. We got two threes, they're duplicates, true. And then we have one with no duplicates, so it's false. It's just that simple, bro. So let's just go ahead and go on paint real quick. Okay. Let's go ahead and go through paint. Okay. Pretty much we have our array of numbers, right? So we have an array of numbers. So we're gonna use the brute force tactic. So I'm gonna go through all the solutions to this problem. So we have the brute force solution. Basically, we're gonna have our first pointer here. So this will be our first for loop. And then we'll have our second one here. This will be our second for loop. And basically, we're just gonna compare each. We're gonna compare J and I. So in case you don't know, this J. So there's I and this J. And basically, we're just gonna go through. Okay, this is way too small, man. All right. So we're just gonna go through the array. So we're gonna go like so, okay? So J's here. Nope. J's here. Nope. Therefore, we're just gonna go ahead and start moving the I, right? We're gonna start moving the I pointer to the next one and keep comparing and then keep comparing until we find a match. So eventually I will be here. J will be here. They compare each other, and then bada bing bada boom, bro. We're gonna return true on that. Okay, so pretend that row here return true. So it's actually that quite simple. So I'm gonna go ahead and write in code, and whenever you do LeetCode, always do Python. Weirdly enough, on interviews, even as a Java role, a TypeScript role, you can use any programming language you want in interviews. Therefore, the easiest one is simply just Python. So basically we'll do for I in range. 1 second. So for I in range, length nums. Okay, when we write this line of code, we're basically getting the index. So I is just simply the index. Because for example, if you're using I in nums in Python, this is so I is the element, so you're getting the actual element 1, the actual element 2, and then 3, and then 3. In this one, we're just getting the index. So for I, this will be our index. So it will be 0, 1, 2, 3. So right now it starts at 0 versus here it's 1. So that's why we want to do that. And we'll run through the array for the entire length of nums. So that's what it means. So for J in range. Okay, and there's two parameters. So there's two parameters. So we have to start. So we have start and then end for the function range. Here we're simply only using till it ends, right? If you only write one parameter is specifies end, but you can also write for how it starts. And this is important because here we want to start with whatever I is, so index 0 plus 1 always. Because remember, when we iterate through it, let's say we get to index 1, we want J to start 1 above I, okay? And then we want to end it to the length of nums, okay? So if now all right, so now that we have these two, we want to check to see if the element on index I and the element in index J are the same, so we can return true. Okay, so if nums, right, we want, so remember, this is only the index. When we write this line of code, we're just getting the index. So if nums I equals to nums J, then we'll return true. Okay, very important, because if we simply just write if I equals J, here's the problem. Here's the problem, bro. So when you write this, you're only getting the index. So we're comparing 0 to 1, 0 to 2. Bro, no. right? Come on, we're getting the index. So to get the actual element itself, we want to get the array and then specify the location of the index, and that will return our element in the list. Okay, now that that's done, we'll just go ahead and return false. And then this should run. Hopefully it runs. There we go, it ran. We're chilling. So yeah, pretty much. Now here's the problem with this. As you can see, we're looping the array twice. So we're looping through this. Here's the thing. We're at 0, right? And then we're gonna loop J. And then we have to go through J, and then we have to go back to I. And then we increase this index, so from 0 to 1, and then we have to go through this for loop again, right? So we call this big O of 2, bro. We call this big O of 2. This is the time complexity. Basically, it takes a pretty long time of going through the list, and it's just not efficient because on an enterprise level, right? On a large scale level, this will make our program super slow running like on Microsoft, like Windows 95, bro. And we don't want that, bro. We want lightning speed results. So I'm gonna teach you the next solution, right? So that was brute force, guys. This is brute force. I'm not gonna write the whole thing, but it's just brute force. I end up writing the whole thing. It's all good. All right, so the next solution I'm gonna teach you is the hash set. Okay, we're using a hash set, right? Very important. If you don't know what hash set is, basically it's a set of unique numbers, or unique elements, right? So let's say we have 1, 2, 3, 3, or A, B, B, C. Pretty much a hash set is a data structure. So is a list. So we're creating like a list of sorts, right? And basically we're just only gonna put unique elements in the set. So 1, okay, 2, okay, 3, okay. Wait, we have 3 already. You're not getting in there, boss. So we only have 1, 2, 3 in the set because we don't do repeat elements. And the same thing here, bro, is 1 A, B, C. We're never gonna do 2 B's. All right, we don't want that. So that's the beauty of a hash set, is a data structure. Very simple. So you get the idea. Basically, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna loop. We're gonna loop through this. And what's good, we only need 1. We're just gonna go here. We're gonna check, is this number in the hash set? Right? Right now it's empty. Right? Is it? Nope, it's not. So we're just gonna put it in there. Put it in there, bro. So we're gonna check this. Okay, is it in there? No, put it in there. Is it in there? No, put it in there. Now here's the fire part. We check here. Is it in there? It is. And if it insists it is, right, we're going to return true right away. Okay, we're going to return true right away. So that's the basic idea of these things. So we're going to go ahead and reset our code. Now we have to make a hash set. So I'm just going to call it hash, just call it hash set. And we're going to create, was it new set? No. Okay, is this. Okay, guys, is this. It's set, okay? It's the function is called set, literally. So let's go ahead and do for I in nums, right? So remember what I said in the last one. For I in range nums, that's for the index. For I in nums, we're simply getting the elements. So I represents the element. So it's not as, so it starts at 0, 1, 2, 3 when it goes to a loop. But when you call I, it's just representing the actual numbers in the list. So for I in nums, if I in hash map return true. Otherwise, we want to put it in the hash map. So we'll just do a hash map, and the function to add elements to the list, right, is dot add. So we'll just do dot add I. And then when we finish all that, just return false so we get nothing. Run that shit. What? Okay, yeah, sorry guys. Just realized I put map instead of set, and I did it here again. It happens. No worries. So yeah, pretty much very easy solution, very simple to understand. One thing I forgot to mention is that when we use a hash set, since we're looping through it once and we're just putting unique values into a list, we'll using hash maps or hash sets are usually very fast, so usually they're big of n. So now we're gonna do the sorting solution. Okay, you might be saying, but wait, in the two examples we have, they're both sorted. Here's the thing. There's actually multiple test cases. So if you look here in output or you're on LeetCode, wherever, you see it says past test cases 21 out of 21. These are the two examples, and they only show you two test cases. They don't show you all the test cases, which might be tricky because some of them are not sorted. So we're gonna have to fix that problem if we want our sorting solution to work. Because let's just say we have 1, 2, 3, 2. I don't know, right? This ain't gonna work. So what we need to do is just take the list, and then we'll use .sort, which is the function in Python. It just sorts it. It sorts it. Then what we can do is we can have our index I pointer start at the 1 position instead of 0, so that when we loop through it, we can actually compare it to the previous index. And when we do it this way, we actually don't need a second for loop, so it's technically much faster. Okay, and by doing this, we'll be getting a time complexity of O n log n. So let's go ahead and try it out. Okay, so what we want to do is first sort the list. So we're going to do sort. Then for I in range. All right, and then remember we have start and we have the end. So we're going to start at 1. And then we'll end with nums, with the length of nums. Okay, so if nums I is equal to nums I minus 1, then they're the same, so we'll go ahead and return true. And then we could go ahead and return false over here. There you go. Easy solution. Sometimes is so another thing too. Sometimes it's n log n. Sometimes it's just n. So it's pretty fast. It's pretty fast. Okay, guys, and now here's a bonus solution. The reason I did this as a bonus solution is because in interviews, companies don't like you using this solution because it's too simple. So basically, what you want to do is simply write return. Then what we're going to do is we're going to compare the length of the set. We're going to call the set function of nums. So yes, you can literally just put the list into this function nums without creating a whole new hash set. And then just compare its size, which usually would be less than the original, right? So return length is less than the length of the original list. So we're literally comparing the original list and the new list we made using a hash set. If it's smaller than it, then obviously there's been duplicates. So very chill solution. Never used as an interview though. They don't like that because it's too simple. So yeah, thank you for watching.